that'll go across, hence the name cross member. All right, welcome to Schofield Motorsports Garage. We're working on the Toyota, getting the yard done. We're back on He Hate Me. And I'm not hating him so bad today, he hasn't done anything horrible. What I'm about to do is to make a mount for the slider. So I'm going to do that is I'm going to come off the roll bar here, come down here with a tube, make a truss. I'll also reinforce this since this has been pie cut and welded here. It'll add a brace to this, reinforcing this joint, reinforce the entire cage. It'll come down here, and I'll put a cross member across between, and then box the slider mount off of that. And right now the front leaf spring mount is in the upper hole, so this will be as high as the back ever needs to be, so that'll be the starting point. And then I'll make spacers to bolt the when I bolt the slider in, I'll make spacers to space it down when I move it down to different holes. It's probably going to start out in the second hole from the bottom. That's roughly the stock position. I believe that's how Calvert set this up. It should work that way, but if I want to make the car lower, if the car doesn't sit low enough, and obviously I don't have the Caltrac plates on it right now, but if I want the car to sit lower, I'll be able to raise the front up. I think it's about 2.5 to 3 inches difference right now from one to the other, and then I can move the back appropriately by keeping the back positions roughly, or keeping the angle between the front mount, which is down here, and then the back leaf spring mounts up higher. Keeping that angle the same means that the pinion angle will stay the same. Think about getting some blocks, like I think those are half-inch. They're half-inch hole centers, except for some reason the bottom one, when I had it made, I didn't pay attention. I don't know if I drew it this way, or if they just cut the bottom one from the bottommost hole to the second hole is a 3/8 hole center. The rest of them are half-inch, or 3/8 between holes, half-inch between the others. But one thing I've thought of for really fine-tuning is could make basically shims. You know, maybe a stack of shims for the smallest hole difference. And then, you know, if I ever want to play with, like if say we set the car up and it has 3 degrees of negative pinion angle, if I ever wanted, like, what would happen if we added more pinion angle, took away pinion angle. I think if we went from one, you know, if we raised the front up without raising the back up, or vice versa, you'd get pretty radical pinion angle changes just moving one end of the leaf spring without the other. But say if we made like some shims out of like 14 gauge material, so 74 thousandths at a time, you could take 3 or 4 out, make a change, but it wouldn't be super radical. It'd be something worth trying. So I may do that. Of course, as you can see, this is a long time before it actually is motivated by its own power, so that's something I'm not really super worried about today. Just going to make the back brace truss for the frame rails and work on the cross member, just tack it all in. It'll probably come back out, so it'll be easier to work on the tubs when I get around to doing the tubs. So that's where we are right now. Thanks for tuning in. Okay, so turn off my music so I don't run afoul of the copyright police. I believe it's the fabrication series I watched, where he explained how he set up his tubing vendor and created what he called a cheater, 24-inch length, marked every inch from where I started. It has 4 inches that sticks out past the clamp on the bender, and that way you know how much material it takes to make a bend. I need this bend at the end of my little truss. I'm going to build it real short, so I'm just going to bend it like this, and then we'll cut it off short, get the angle that it's going to be, because the frame is coming down like that. This is going to sit somewhere back there. So I believe I'll cut it Actually, I think I'm going to cut it a little short of 90. Probably we're going to start out with about 60 degrees and see how that works, how much material that's going to take up, how much of this has to cut off, and then get the angle. The angle, I've got to cut it to meet the frame rail, and then I'll make my little stubs for the truss effect. I'm done. Okay. It's like 88 degrees, 65% humidity. It's just nasty. Tomorrow, I think the high is supposed to be 71. Just get some thunderstorms later today. So I'm going to bend this tube to a 60-degree angle to start. It's 4 inches from here to the beginning of the die when I put it in. And once again, there's our pointer. We're already to about 13. I do have to count the spring back. So we'll go to about 63 or 64. About to find out though. We're gonna run out of frame. We're gonna pull the pin. Alright. It's 63. We'll let off the pressure, see where we're gonna end up. I'll say that's 60 degrees in my book. They put you guys back down. You folks, it could be women. You're over here. Can you see? Yeah, we do. Okay. So, oh yeah, way too long. Wasted some of my material. Stay. Okay. Okay. So that's in a pretty good spot. I really only want it. I want to lop off 8 inches. Yeah, I want to cut off about 8 inches. Bring it back down about right there. Hey, good morning. Welcome to Schofield Garage. I'm no Steven Spielberg, obviously, because I recorded a bunch of footage. Well, let's take that back. I attempted to record a bunch of footage yesterday when I was working on He Hate Me, and epic failure. I didn't realize, I kept looking at I used my phone, or an old phone, to record, and I would stop clips because of music and everything else going on. And then I kind of noticed they were stopping on their own. Then about the third time I realized, oh, they're stopping on their own because the camera or the phone is full, will not record anymore. So I had over 200 gigabytes of video clips on the phone I'd never downloaded. So I've got some editing to do, put up another video or two. That'll obviously be up before you see this one. But let's go over what you should have seen yesterday, from yesterday's action, let's say. So I'll show you what we did. So yesterday, I worked on building these trusses for the rear frames mount. They're just going to be tacked in because they come out because the down bar still has to be welded. So they're just tacked in place. It'll also have somewhere, oh here it is, have a cross member that'll go across, hence the name cross member. The cross member will go across. Can I zoom out anymore now? And you can see there's the leaf spring. For the leaf spring, I'll be running sliders. These are Calvert sliders. They'll be mounted level because they have angle built into them. They'll be sitting right there. The cross member will go across. Off of it will come a down tube to mount the bracket or the mount for the slider. Of course, it'll be gusseted and reinforced. And as you can see up front, my adjustable mount, there's 3.5 inches of adjustment from the lowest hole to the highest hole. The second hole that it's in right now, the second from the bottom, is about approximately stock ride height. I've got the rear eyes of the leaf springs held up with clamps at about the height of the stock rear leaf spring when it's at the front. Let's try to figure out English words. So before I took the car apart, I measured how high off the floor the front leaf spring is and the rear leaf spring eyelet. These are the same distance apart. They're about 5 inches. The back's about 5 inches higher than the front. So, in a nutshell, I guess that's what I'm trying to say. Keeping that angle, I've measured for the rear end housing width. There's a seller on eBay that sells a 9-inch housing with axles to your width spec. We'll go with 35 spline axles. Get the housing. For the housing welded to my spec and axles, 35 spline axles, be about $800, which seems pretty reasonable. Then I don't have to go traipsing around the junkyard, find the housing, cut it down, measure, get the axles, do all that. I'll just get it made. It'll be one of the things I'll just, buy prepackaged, pre-made rear end housing. But so that's what I'm working on today, is getting this cross member fit in. It's about an 1/8 inch too wide. It's spreading these truss, I guess I'll call them truss bars. It's spreading these truss bars out. So you can see I had it tacked in, but realized it was pushing these out, so I cut it back out, which you can see the fresh grind marks. So I'll work on trimming that up a little more. Thank God it is about 30 degrees cooler right now than it was yesterday, so maybe a little more enjoyable to work out here. Unfortunately, losing footage yesterday, not recording footage yesterday, missed actually setting up the tubing bender and using it, and notching with my tube notcher. I may have gotten the part where I talked about this. It's on the fabrication series. This is a bend cheater. So it's a 24-inch long piece of tubing. It's marked every inch. Also marked where the clamp starts. The clamp starts. What's up with that? Yeehaw! The clamp starts 4 inches in, or that's actually where the die starts. That's actually where it is in the die. So I measured all that. That helps figure out the bend radius and how much material it takes to make that bend. So can't say that I did it like in one shot making those trusses, but I'm pretty sure if I didn't have that, it would have taken a lot more trial and error. I made one on the passenger side, got it the way I wanted, and just basically duplicated it for the driver's side. So that's it for now. I guess I'll get back